gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's going on? What's going on to all my embracers? You got it. It's Monday night. You know what it is. We got a good one tonight. So I'd like to welcome all my regulars. Thank you so much for coming in here and supporting. I really appreciate it. You know, there's a difference between supporting and there's a difference between consistency in your support. And I really appreciate it. And for my newbies, welcome to the show. I really appreciate you coming out and checking me out. I just want to let you know that this is a safe place. This is a place where we embrace truth and we embrace your truth. It's a place where we encourage growth and healing and where it's okay to have the uncomfortable conversations. It's okay to have the awkward conversations, the necessary conversations, because through communication is where we can grow and change our mindsets and become better versions of ourselves. So I just want to say thank you again. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, WhatsApp, and of course YouTube. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want, support the channel on the Cash App. I really appreciate it. A lot of you guys don't realize just how much work, time, and effort it takes for us content creators to do this. And we do it for a reason. We don't always just do it for the money. We do it because we feel we have a message that we need to get out there and help others and realize that they're not alone in the things that they go through. But it takes equipment, it takes effort, it takes, what it takes, to have anything. So I do want to say hello to my queen Shalakemia. Thank you so much for coming in and supporting me. I really do appreciate it. I thank you for coming. And of course, my sis Grace, how are you, my dear? Thank you for coming in. And Uncle Scary will be here anytime. And if not, that's okay too. He can't be here every week. I get it. He has a life too. And the show will go on. But anyway, so what are we talking about tonight? What are we talking about? The link is in the chat. Scroll all the way up, Gary. I'll send it again. I always have it posted. I need to pin it, but I'll send it again. Oh, Gary is here. So give me just a minute. There it is for you. And Grace, if you want to come up, my girl Shalakemia, if you want to come up, because it's a good one tonight, and I'm snapping respectfully. Because there's just some mindsets that need to be done with and away with, because that's for the birds. So what are we talking about tonight? No more happy wife, happy life. My gentlemen, my men, my kings, do you hear me? I need you guys to embrace this. No more happy wife, happy life. It is not fair to you guys. You're not the only one in this marriage. Let me go ahead and get Gary in here. He's come through. How you doing, Mr. D?
I'm good. I was trying to get on, but it wouldn't let me scroll up. So that's why I asked you for the link.
Okay, no problem. I'm gonna but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna figure it out because I know you can pin things.
Okay.
So if I do the link and I can pin it and it won't care, next time I'll get on that. So Gary, I haven't even started. I just introduced the topic, but let's introduce you first. Gary, who are you and where can we find you?
Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you, Grace, for having me here. My name is Gary D. My co-host here with Grace on Embrace the Grace, but also I'm president of Boardwalk Global Media. We're a boutique podcasting and entertainment company. We have a few podcasts we do every week, but the main one that I do is on Friday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. It's called The Real Discussion. Grace comes out and supports every week, so I thank her so much for doing that.
Absolutely.
And on The Real Discussion, we talk about so many different topics, from politics to relationships to what's going on in everyday life, and it's the real discussion, right? So we have the real talks. You could find us on Facebook, The Real Discussion, Instagram, The Real Discussion, YouTube, Boardwalk Global Media, Instagram, Boardwalk Global Media, and Facebook, Boardwalk Global Media.
Absolutely. So Gary, before
Yeah.
we even get into it, I want to get your perspective on just this simple statement. Happy wife, happy life. What do you think about that?
I mean, happy life, happy wife. I think that statement is definitely one-sided. Probably came up by a woman, and it seems like as long as you make the wife happy, right, then your life would be a lot better. And in a marriage, it takes two, right? You got to make both people happy, right? I mean, even in a relationship, right? It's about both people, right? It's about both people. But that happy life, happy wife statement, I think that it's very one-sided, because as long as you do whatever it takes to make her happy, and some women you could move heaven and earth, and she still won't be happy.
Absolutely. So for a man to think that he can make a woman happy, he's gonna die trying, because
exactly. And I was seeing the other day on a podcast where one woman was saying, well, at least for me, making me happy is not enough. So you see this shit, we got to deal with it.
So what would have been considered enough for her?
Yeah, it just, she didn't go in and say.
Well,
so
that's why she's gonna buy a dog and die alone. That's what's gonna happen to that. So okay, why I think about happy life, happy wife? I think is weak.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's weak-minded on men. And I don't know anybody, but that's a simp like mindset.
Yeah.
And when I hear men say it, my level of respect for them goes down a couple notches. Because so you don't even value yourself or think that you're that important in a marriage that you only think about making your wife happy. And I get it. If my wife is happy, I'm happy. But you know what? There's more to the wife than just the wife. I got the chip is here. Israel's here. Thank you for coming. The link is up. So if you want to come up, you're definitely welcome. I'm getting the comments, so it's getting busy. See Grace, she's gonna buy a dog and die alone. Yeah, she is. That's what my beloved Kevin Samuels used to say: buy a dog or die alone. So then Marilyn is here. How you doing? This is my mama from Publix. How you doing, baby? Thank you for coming. Guys, don't forget to press the like button. That's just like coming in and hanging up your jacket. Now putting your umbrellas away. Press the like button. What you hear, if you like what you see, and if you're learning, support the Cash App, hashtag Embrace the Grace 23, because you know what? I'm building this plane as we're flying in. That's why I love Gary so much, because he got his seatbelt on, he got his mask ready next to him. He riding it out with me. So
that's what we're
and
doing.
then Grace Grace saying hi to Israel because we all know each other and we all move in the same route. So back to the happy wife, happy life. I don't like it. I don't like it because it makes it seem like, once again, it's all about the woman. It's all about making the wife happy. And I need y'all men to really take y'all places back at the head of the table and stop playing the goddamn sidelines so much. Y'all were put on this earth first. Y'all were made to be head of households and leaders. And y'all are stepping back and allowing these women to take y'all position. And that's weak. I said what I said by the famous words of my queen Shalakimia. I said what I said. And if I offend you, then I must have touched a nerve.
That's
okay?
how it goes.
And if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But y'all men need to start taking y'all spots. I'm not saying stop making y'all wives happy. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is y'all need to start recognizing y'all worth and y'all value and making y'all wives realizing y'all worth and y'all value. Because I'm telling you, I every time I hear a man say, oh yeah, you know, happy wife, happy life, I said, no, it's not happy wife, happy life. It's happy spouse, happy house. And I'm taking it up a notch, Gary. Happy king, happy kingdom.
Yeah, right. There you go. There you go.
That's for the elite. You know, I gotta get I gotta get at least the basics. You know, happy spouse, happy house. But when you surpass, let's take it up a notch. Happy king, happy kingdom.
Right.
Israel, how you doing, my dear?
I'm doing well. How y'all doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We good. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. I thought something was wrong with my mic for a minute. Yeah, I'm good. How y'all doing?
Who you are and introduce yourself to my audience. Good.
Yeah,
Tell us who you are and where we can find you so they can go and subscribe to your.
All right, y'all can find me anywhere on social media at VBen Israel. I am the People's Champ. You can find me here on YouTube, VBen Israel, the People's Podcast. And I'm glad to be here with y'all tonight.
Thank you, and I appreciate you coming in and showing your support. I got Marilyn. She was like, "Good, Gracie, I did. How you doing? I miss you, man. Man, I miss you more. I'm coming back. I'm coming back to Florida. Georgia is just not for me. No offense to Georgia, but I'm working on it, Mama." And then Grace came back and said, "Say it again with your chest." Okay, and I will. No more happy wife, happy life. Y'all hear me, gentlemen? Y'all hear me, ladies? It's happy spouse, happy house. And for the elite, it's happy king, happy kingdom. And then Marilyn came back and yo, I know that's right. Okay, so let's get into it. The phrase happy wife, happy life is the most often used to suggest that a marriage will be well maintained and enjoyable if a partner makes their wife happy first and foremost. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Okay, just like Gary said, it seems to be one-sided. And I'm telling you, y'all men need to stop. Take your position at the head of the table. Happy wife, happy life. It is nobody's responsibility to make somebody happy. That's on them. They can be part of your happiness, but for Gary to wake up every day, every morning and be like, how am I going to make Grace happy today? Should I do this? Should I do that? Come on, man. That in itself is stressful alone. Most men are going to die just trying to do that. And like Gary said before, you could do everything right, do everything a woman needs, and she still won't be happy. And then Marilyn said, "You coming back?" I said, "I'm working on it, Marilyn. I gotta wait till Jordan graduates high school. So about sometime next summer, yeah, I gotta come back to sunny Florida. Georgia just ain't for me. I'm a Sun Island girl, but we work. That's a long-term goal, baby girl. So surprise, you see me walking through them doors again, okay, baby? But anyway, my thing is what about the husband? Is he not part of the marriage? Did you get married by yourself on the altar? Whose ring are you wearing? An imaginary husband? Is it just all about you? Does the man not, Gary, do you not deserve to be happy too? Israel, do you not deserve to be happy too in a marriage?
Of course. I mean, it has to, listen, the happiness goes both ways, right? So both people have to work together to make each other happy and create each other happy. I mean, it's not one-sided.
Yeah, but I like it one-sided, and therefore giving these women the okay to be self-entitled, self-absorbed, and think that the fucking world revolves around them and that their shit don't stink just because they got a vagina between their legs. And I know I'm being kind of crude and harsh, but y'all women need to come back to fucking reality. Because we need men. And for y'all that think that we don't need men and y'all so independent and shit, then okay. If somebody breaks into your house, don't call 911. You deal with it. Next time there's a fire at your house, don't call the firefighters. You deal with it. Next time you run out of gas on the highway, don't accept no help from no man. Because you're independent and you're strong and you can do all this shit by yourself. It's only you're only traditional when it's convenient to y'all, and that's not fair and it's not right. And yes, I am an men because I think that men don't deserve enough credit. They get shoved to the side, but women just don't realize the importance and the value of men. And this is why I am on these YouTube streets to make make women aware. And also because I have a son. I'm a boy mom to the 1,000%. And I got Hurricane here. He was like, hold on. Hurricane say, what's up everybody? Salute, what's up everybody? Thank you for coming. I really appreciate your support. Don't forget to press the like button. And then Marilyn came back and said, both gotta be happy. Exactly. Till death do us part. Us. A marriage is not singular. It's we. We. And it says here, an excellent wife. Go ahead, Israel.
I'm sorry. The whole concept of making somebody else happy is the problem. Happiness is your responsibility. It's not somebody else's job to make you happy. That's why it's not in the marriage vows. But somewhere along the way, we started focusing on this temporary state of being called happiness. And it's a temporary thing. What about duty, honor, respect? We don't talk about those things, but we talk about making somebody happy.
I will, sir, and I will.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And an excellent wife is a crown to her husband. But you see, a lot of women have it twisted. They trying so hard to be like the man that they've forgotten their role because they trying to be like men. And that's where we get it wrong, because no matter what religion or culture you follow, one of the wedding vows that every man and wife takes, and here you go, Israel, is that it is their duty. It is your duty to fulfill each other's needs and wishes. The role of a husband and wife is to fulfill each other's needs, wants, wishes, and dreams. Not just hers. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, not just hers.
But even with that definition, a wish is only part of it. It's not all of it, you know. So again, like we're forgetting out, we're leaving needs out because we're focusing on her wishes. Like you're a genie or something. No, or like Dave Chappelle said, "What do you think? I'm Santa Claus?" You know, I ain't Santa Claus. Like
Exactly. Exactly. And then in the article written by Heather Riggleman on crossword.com, it is the phrase happy life, happy wife biblical, or is it just word of advice? So with that being said, the concept of happy life, happy wife, happy life can nonetheless erode a marriage if not put in proper context. Again,
yeah.
realize what this does to you mentally. You know, y'all go around here trying to satisfy your wife and make her happy, but that shit drains you. It stresses you out. You trying to make the next motherfucker happy? What about your happiness?
And it's constantly
again
changing,
I'm gonna,
you know,
exactly, especially with a woman. You know, today I might like spaghetti. Today I may like spaghetti, but tomorrow I want lasagna. I mean, it's exactly. And
now, me personally, I'll eat lasagna every day, just so you know. I mean, you want to make me lasagna
I know
every
that's
day,
right.
I'll take
I
that.
make I make it homemade. I make it homemade, the sauce homemade and everything. It takes me about a
that's
day
how
and a
I do
half to make my
it.
lasagna. So, gentlemen, while it's noble to aspire a husband to make his wife happy, it has implications that a husband expects to be rewarded for accomplishing things on the honey-do list and making his wife a priority. But what about the husband's priority? What about your needs? What about your wants? What about your dreams? And I have a video. We're gonna go to I have 3 clips. I've set it up nicely. So we're gonna watch one video to give you 3 different perceptions. But let me go quick to the comments to get them out. Great said, heck, the Bible doesn't even guarantee happy. Joy in suffering, yes, but not happy. Exactly. And then came back and said, happiness is fleeting and joy remains. I try not to get too religious on my podcast, but, well, no, not say but. However, I do believe in God and I do read my Bible. So there are things that have to coincide and align with me in what I'm trying to talk to you guys with. You know, like we were talking about last week, Gary, a lot of these women wear white. You know, they might get married by the church. They want to say their vows in front of a pastor, but they don't want to fulfill the job description of a wife that it says biblically. Because if you're getting married by the church, I'm assuming you're implementing God in your marriage. Is that safe to assume?
Yeah, well, I think that but I think that there are a lot of women that they like the idea of marriage, right? So the idea sounds great. It's wonderful. Because what's the first thing that a lot of women either like to do or do? The moment they get their engagement ring, they showing it off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when it comes to, you know, getting the wedding dress and the whole ceremony, like the wedding, it's a very, and as it should be, a very special part in, okay, can you hear, I see you disappeared.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so the wedding,
hold on, the video's on, Gary.
Oh, okay.
Too, because we so stressed out. You'll have that man. You'll have to spend on there finding what it is that you're passionate about and you pursuing that. And then that way, when you come home to me, you whole. You're not, you know, there's not a big void that I have to fill here. And that's all she's saying. It took her, you know, finding the Lord to learn that. I'm good with it as long as you learn that. And a lot of women need to learn that. Your man's job is not to wake up every day and figure out how to make you happy. That's not his job. His job is to not fuck it up, is to not drive the car off the road, sure. But in terms of being the source of your happiness, that's not his job. And every relationship that you be in will fail if that's your mindset. Happy wife, happy life is bullshit. It's happy spouse, happy house. Right? That happy wife, happy life.
Okay, that was a short and sweet one, but you see how he said it? It should have not been the source of your happiness. Is y'all job let the car go in the ditch, but at the same time, you should have your seatbelt on. You should have your license too. You should know how to drive. So in case, you know, things happen. So Grace said happiness. No, I read that one already. Let's read. Follow your heart. Fake it till you make it. The heart is deceptive and ain't nobody making it, but everybody stay faking it. I know that's right. You trying to go in the run-in for best comment of the night. I'm gonna have to start doing something with that, but I gotta get cash apps first, because what I can do is cash app the person that has the best comment of the night. So I gotta build that first, Grace. And then, but right now you're in the running for it. And then Marilyn said, hi, Gracie from Alexis. Hi, Alexis, how are you? Gary, where you at?
There he goes.
Go.
That wasn't me. I guess that was YouTube
So
or what
did you think of?
Yeah.
What did you think about that video? We'll start with Israel. What did you think about what he had to say?
I get the gist of what he was saying. And I gotta be careful with this one. You know, he made a comment about
say the day. We talk real. We to be Israel, but just
you know I'm gonna bring it. You know, you know, the wife can't find the Lord without her husband. I mean, there's a divine order. As God, Christ, the husband, and the wife, everybody reports up. So the wife can't skip over the husband and Christ and go straight to God. That would be my only pushback. But I do like his saying as far as the happy house, happy spouse. I do like that. It's interesting. I mean, when we look
but
at,
I'm taking it up a notch, Israel.
Okay.
I'm taking it up a notch. I'm taking it happy king, happy kingdom. I don't think they're ready for that yet. What do you think?
Well, I remember kings, when they wasn't happy, they used to chop off the wife's head. So
yeah,
they got straight to business.
And my boy
back
Wally,
then,
he said exactly. Boy Wally says, salute. I'll watch the replay. I'm on the road. Thank you for chiming in, Wally. I really appreciate your support. Just don't forget to press the like button. I think you're wrenched up now. I worked on it last night. So if you have a chance, just say hi in the comments and see if I did it right and see if you got your wrench, okay? But be safe on the road, okay? And make sure you got your seatbelt on, boo. Okay, so yeah, they ain't ready that is. You know, I'm just trying to get them. I'm just trying to get them to understand happy spouse, happy house. But only the elite will understand happy king, happy kingdom. And most women ain't ready for that, because to them, most ninjas ain't shit anyway. So
well,
you know what I'm saying. So I got a lot.
Like, what if the thing that makes your wife happy is crack? Are you gonna give her crack every day to keep her quote unquote?
No, you're gonna
happy?
put her ass in a rehab and until she gets better.
But you got some people that'll give her crack. You got some dudes who simp so hard, they'll let their wife smoke crack.
Those are enablers. That's not husband. That's an enabler.
But it's. I mean,
no.
When you're about to get married, I mean, like, who are you marrying? You're supposed to know. At least, I believe you're supposed to know the person that you're marrying, and I do know in some cultures, you know, your husband and wife is picked for you, and then when you get to a certain age, the family bring them together and stuff like that. But I mean, I guess for those of us in the Western world here, like, who are you marrying? So you're supposed to get to know who this person is, what they're about, what they're into, likes or dislikes. And I think even more importantly, are you happy being with this person, right? I mean, why are you going to marry someone that you don't feel happy with, right?
From the rip.
Now,
exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like this person makes you feel good, or this people make you feel good. There's some women that say that when they're with the guy that they're with, like he feels like home, right? Like, right. So if it ain't feeling like that, then why you marrying a person, right? But unfortunately, nowadays, you got people getting married for all sorts of crazy reasons, and what, 6 months later, a year later, 2 years later, like what? Most of the marriages nowadays is done within five years. Yeah. It's like, who the hell are you marrying?
It's funny. My ex-wife told me the other day she's about to get married again. And I said to her, why? You don't believe in marriage. You don't believe in any of the vows. Like, why would you want to do it again? Like, that's so opposite of who you are. Why would you want to do it again?
What did she say to him?
She got quiet. She got very, very quiet. And again, I was married to her for 20 years. So, I mean, like, I would think she would at least consider, like, this ain't coming from somebody who just met you. I've known you for quite a long time, All of your adult life, I've known you. Parenting, we were fine together. That wasn't the problem. It was the marriage part that she struggled with. And I told her, like, why? Why are you doing this? And second-time divorces have a higher failure rate, as Gary just pointed out. Hell, they only lasted 5 years. That's the first marriage.
Absolutely. That's right. Yeah.
So the second time around, it doesn't get better. Like, you don't get better at this thing. We get worse in Western civilization at second marriages. I mean, they got like a 90% failure rate or some shit like that.
That's right.
And she's the worst person ever. I'm absolutely. Like, you're horrible. You're a nice person once you take the marriage out of it, but once you put you in a marriage, you are the worst.
I guess it's just like my ex. He's a great friend. Damn. I told my ex, you're a great friend, you're a good person, but you're just not husband material.
You're a horrible husband,
You're just not. We get along better as friends. Because
I can't even be friends with her. I mean, I've been biting my teeth, grinding them out, trying to co-parent, quote unquote. I hate that term, but I was forced into it. But I just, it was boggling my mind. And I'm saying to her, you'll take my advice when it comes to a car. You'll take my advice when it comes to these kids. And so why would you think what I'm saying to you is so off, way off, like what I'm saying right now to you? You are the worst. So I don't know. Like I said,
Israel, she probably doesn't want to be by herself.
Well, she's with the dude there.
She doesn't want to be by herself. She needs a companionship.
She's been with this dude for 7 years. So it's not like she's by herself. But you don't, like, again, that's why I don't understand. Why are y'all getting married now? You already been together 7 years. Y'all both on y'all second marriages. Why would you do this? Just continue doing what you're doing. You already had the ceremony. Gary pointed that out.
What happened?
You already had the ceremony once. Huh?
Just go get your popcorn.
Oh, and that's what I said. I'm just gonna sit back and look. Even my kids, like my adult kids, are looking at her like, I don't know.
So
My daughter said it.
let
Yeah,
me read what can't claim to follow Christ if she's not following her husband. That's disobedience straight up. You're absolutely right, Grace, because if nobody knows, you'll know tonight. The order of operation: the children belong to the women belong to the husband, and the husband belongs to God. That's how it was made, and that's how it should be. We will never be equal to men. Get that through your fucking heads.
yeah. There's
We
no
will never
equality
be
in the
equal to
Bible.
them.
There's never been any equality in the Bible. It's always been a hierarchy.
There are some things that women can do that men can't, and we do them better. And vice versa, things that are better than us, and that's why we have to complement each other. But we can't be out there trying to be men and then expect of our bills. You're giving mixed signals. I'm independent. I'm strong. I pay all my bills. PhD.
Well, Christ himself was dealing with that feminist concept. So, and he addressed it, because he was in the synagogue preaching, and the women got loud and raised up their voice and said, well, what about your mama? We still hear that same spirit is still on the planet today. Oh, well, your mama black, right? You hear that today. Well, Christ said, it's better to hear the commandments and keep them. That's what you need to be focusing on. Not on this other stuff and equality and all this. Here's what you need to be focusing on. Y'all missing what I'm saying. Here's where you need to be. Mm-hmm. And that was thousands of years ago when he said that.
Mm-hmm. And then Grace came back and said, people skip to step 10 and totally go past step 1, learning to love selflessly. I mean, yep. And that's another thing, guys. We don't even have premarital counseling anymore. That was something big back in the days where you go to church, the pastor will have premarital counseling with you and actually vet the relationship and see if they're ready to get married, to see if they're compatible to get married. We don't even do that anymore. We run to Vegas. That's why I wore this shirt. We run to Vegas and elope. And and Gary, and like we talk about every week, don't have those hard, necessary conversations. We can't talk about finances when we already married. That should have been addressed before marriage. You always
should have been the first month you was meeting this person. That certain conversation should come out.
Absolutely.
Early on.
Absolutely. And
we got to find out who's the spender, who's the saver, whose libido is higher than whose, our parenting style. I mean, these are important conversations that need to happen before marriage, it's being proactive. Right. Making sure you're marrying the right person.
And you said, you said a key word. Are you compatible? Are the both of you really compatible?
Yeah.
Or is it just a couple of nights of hot sex and y'all feel good, right?
Well, they don't even make sure they sexually compatible.
That part, ladies and gentlemen, my show last week was about sexless marriages. And it's really sad that y'all men are here walking around with blue balls and accepting the bullshit. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all, again, and I'm going to keep repeating it because this is something that I thought of and I said, you know what? I'm going to keep repeating it. Y'all men need to start taking y'all God-given position. And that's at the head of the table. But a lot of y'all just decided to say, fuck it. It's not worth it. I don't want to argue. I'm just going to take the sideline. She got it, whatever. So you're okay with not having sex. You're okay with killing yourselves, making somebody happy who's not giving you sex. I mean, it if I'm looking out it from the outside in, some of y'all men are really simping out here.
Yeah, they
And
punks.
I said what I
They
said.
straight up punks.
I said what I said. You know, there was a survey that was done last year, and it was pretty interesting. And it was like, I think last year was the first time that there was a large jump in single men not having sex.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Because
Yeah,
dudes don't want to put up with the bullshit.
40% of millennials
they're even being okay. They're even being okay with not having sex and not to deal with the bullshit that we dish out. And look, I'm not excluding myself for any of my ladies in this audience. I'm a woman too, and I know I can be a handful as well. But the difference between me and Israel, the difference between me and a lot of these women is that I take accountability. I have learned through experience and age when to shut the fuck up, when to allow a man to lead.
Some women, they don't want to take accountability.
They don't.
Some women don't want to take accountability of the action of what they do, or they want to blame it for, or they want to blame some type of trauma that they've dealt with, but they don't want to take the accountability.
Exactly. And that, I'm glad you brought up trauma too. It is not, just like it's not the other person's responsibility to make you happy, it is not that other person's to heal you of your trauma. They can help you heal, but to look to that person, no. That's why they have therapists. That's why they have psychiatrists.
Y'all got me quoting the Bible a lot tonight. The Bible says, examine yourself. That's what it says. Examine yourself.
Exactly.
But like Gary said, they don't want to take accountability because they don't want to examine themselves.
Exactly. They don't, like, you know, it's anybody, like any of my women friends know me, I'm a communications person. Like, we got to be able to communicate effectively. If we can't do that, it's not going to happen. Right? Because nothing works without that. I need to understand you. You need to understand me. And communication, clear communication and understanding is what lays the foundation for whatever relationship, or even if y'all building to a romantic relationship, because you have to understand each other. A lot of these women nowadays, they don't want to do that. How can they do that if they don't even want to take accountability for what the fuck they do?
But Gary, it's not that they don't want to do it. A lot of them don't know how to do it. Okay? That's the point. They don't know how to. They don't know how to express.
Correction is grievous, and
don't know how
to
articulate.
They don't want to take instruction.
Absolutely.
They don't want to.
So there's
they struggle with it. But those same people,
right behind what you said, Gary,
give out instructions. That's what Sister Shahrazad Ali said. We'll tell. She was speaking about women. Us women will tell a man what to do, but we don't want that man telling us nothing. She said that 30 years ago.
Oh no, couldn't. Yep, still happening after 30 years. It's still happening. And it's still going on. And Gary, there it is. There's my comment when you said have that communication, so there is no misunderstandings down the road. It is not Gary. If me and Gary was to get together as a couple, it is not his responsibility to unpack my shit. He can help me fold some stuff. He can help me to put away some stuff. But initially, it's my responsibility. It's not fair. We're asking too much of a man. You know, once again, men ain't shit, but we expect a man to heal us. We expect a man to pay all our bills. We expect a man to fix everything. But we don't allow them to be happy. It's like, what are we doing right now? Are we creating a barter system? I give you what you want so I can get what I want. And this is a bullshit ass myth, concept, and mindset that leads to long-term disappointment, frustration, and resentment for a man.
Well,
And
us men wouldn't have a problem with a barter system. It's totally unbalanced. It's like two for me, one for you. Two for me, one for you. And men wouldn't have a problem with a fair exchange. But it's so off and so
the
lopsided.
Change is no robbery.
Like, let's start there. We can start there.
So with that, absolutely. But is you even think in a marriage we should be keeping a scorecard? If I wake up in the morning and I know you're off and I'm off today, shit, I'm gonna get up and make breakfast. We're gonna have a nice morning. We're gonna do our thing, and we're gonna spend quality time. And then while I had fed you and emptied you out, then I'm gonna ask you, babe, I need you to get this done today and this done. Well, I go do this, and that. You're gonna be willing and happy to do it. But to get up in the morning, I need you to do this and I need you to do that.
Some people are so selfish, they can't help it. They don't even see what they're doing.
Well,
I was in a relationship
because they're
with a
so
girl last
self-entitled.
year. I broke up with a girl last year, and before we broke up, I asked her, what have you done specifically for me in these 11 months that we've been together? She couldn't name one thing. I said, look, I could give you 10 things I did for you last week. And then she go, why are you keeping score? I said, no. If I were keeping score, we would have been together 11 months.
I like that. I like that.
Real about it. Like, you're the one keeping score because you're always adding points to your side, but never to my side, you know? Mm-hmm. And I can't stand them chicks who are tit for tat. They always remember what they did, but never what you did.
Oh, it's always like that. It's always like that. But also, too, you know, in my experience, they, you know, just as you say, they all. So I think there's been this mentality that women think or feel that men don't have good memories. Well, I'm one of those guys that I have a memory like a camera.
Me too.
Right? So that shit don't work with me.
Grace, where'd you go? I was enjoying looking at your new camera setup because your camera looks good.
No, but I had to put some lip gloss on. I didn't want to
see the progress.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll tell you, we was looking at that shit like, did she beat up
Jimmy Kimmel and take his camera or something?
Gary got his seatbelt real tight on this airplane. I hear you. I'm working on it, boss. I'm working on it. That's why look at it right there. Support this channel.
Yeah, the Godfather said you got to build it while you fly it, baby.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Kevin Sanders.
So, with that being said, gentlemen, husbands eventually, y'all husbands begin to think, why the fuck does she get everything that she wants and I don't? Does she not see how much I sacrifice for her? And it creates a negative view of women, marriage, and their wife. And that's when they start walking around with resentment. And as for the women, this concept may seem like a great situation, but it creates a sense of entitlement and holding all the power in a relationship. And a wife has the capability to reward her husband or destroy him with her disappointment. So men, my gentlemen, my kings, even my pookies and ray-rays, I'm talking to all of y'all. Y'all need to take y'all position at the table. And I'm not saying turn around and go be a bully to y'all wives, but be more firm. Put your foot down. Do things a little bit differently. And either she's going to accept it or reject it.
Well, some men are so scared.
Physically, it is going to fuck with you.
They're so scared to lose that woman And I think that's where a lot of the problem originates from. They're scared to walk away from a bad deal. And they'll just stay in it instead of walking
Not
away
only
from
that,
it
they're gonna
early
lose
on.
half their.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about before the marriage.
They're gonna lose half their shit, and they're gonna lose
Before
their
the marriage,
kids.
they're scared to walk away.
But-
Because like
but-
Gary pointed out, you got so many men not having sex, and they get sucked into, now she giving them some. Oh, I don't want to go back to that secular, that involuntary celibate life that I was living before. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
But see, I think that, you know,
But you
I
settle.
get
You put up.
in my opinion, when you're a true alpha male or you're a dominant male, you control the situation. And I think that some of these men, you know, and you know, I think that some men, they don't. Let me rephrase that. Women, they know who they can mess with and who they can't mess with, right? So they know who they can push and who they can't. And I think that the ones that they feel that they could push and sort of get away with, that's who they wind up dealing with. Because a guy that's not going to tolerate their shit, you know, is going to cut them off or not deal with them or leave them alone. And
It's about leverage.
Yeah, and I think because I even said last week, it seems like in women's younger age they want the bad boy, right? The very bad boy. Then when they get to a point when they want to settle down, they go for sort of the beta-ish male that's not as aggressive and dominant, right? So
Yeah, that's willing to clean up their bullshit that they created.
Exactly. Right. So, you know, and I think I think, you know, that's a problem too. But you know, with some of these women nowadays, they're.
And the Bible talks about that concept that y'all are describing. It refers to it as standing upright. It always tells men to stand upright. You know, what the girl said to you earlier, say it with your chest. That's basically what God was saying. You know, say it with your chest, nigga. Stand upright.
This is where we hit the brick wall.
Like, yeah,
This
right.
becomes
So
a vicious cycle with the single mother epidemic. Go ahead, Gary. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think with some men, they have to, or that man has to be sort of the brick wall that she runs into, because unfortunately there's so many of these simping type guys that allow her to get away with this shit, right? So that guy or that last guy or what have you, he needs to be that brick wall that she runs into where he doesn't tolerate that shit. It's like, no, you're not doing that shit here, and sort of put her in her place.
Well, good point. And my wife said to me during that conversation, she was trying to explain the difference between the new dude and me, right? And I told her, I said, I see it clearly. I said, the difference between me and him is you couldn't get away with certain shit with me. And she says, what do you mean? I said, the fact that you're always calling me about y'all's problems, I would never let you call another man and solve a problem in my house. But obviously he's very comfortable with that. And that's a problem for me.
Oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't
know.
No,
he knows. Because sometimes she'll be on the phone with me and he's right there.
See, I can definitely relate, because in my past, I've also had women that have said to me, Gary, I could never do that. Like, you would never tolerate this kind of behavior, because whoever the new guy is that they're dealing with, she literally said, oh, you know, you would never tolerate that, or I could never do that with you. Like, you got to be that guy. You understand?
And I said to her, "It's you know
what's
what I'm saying."
What's the example you always give, Gary? Sorry, Israel. My bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm listening.
What What's the example you always give when your girls go out, when your girl
Oh,
goes out with her
oh,
friends?
yeah. So yeah, it's like,
Yep.
well, you have to be the guy where when your girl and her girlfriends go out and they having their drinks or what have you, and they go around the table talk, each of them talking about, oh, I do this and my man lets me get away with it, or I tell my man what to do. And when it comes around to your girl has to be the one that be like, my man don't tolerate that shit.
Yeah.
And they all looking at her like so so you have to be that guy where that's your girl. It's like she she listening to her friends talk and talk about how they're basically manipulating their men, right? Basically, because that's what it is, right? And your girl has to be the one that, my man don't tolerate that.
And I told her, you looked at me as I was trying to control you. I looked at the situation like I was protecting you.
Right? See? Exactly.
That's where you and I had to disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, ask yourself this: are you better now, or were you better with me? Like, let's be real about it.
And what was her answer, Israel?
She got quiet again. I said, hey, you lived on a cul-de-sac. You had a luxury car, a Land Rover. The kids were straight. Now, where do you live? You live in the hood. I said, even the car you're driving, I got you that car. I said, so you haven't improved, even though you've been with a man for 7 years. He hasn't added nothing to you. I said, this ain't me hating. I'm stating the obvious thing that anybody looking at you could see. I know people who've known you all your life of looking at it like, hey, I was better with the other guy. I know they're looking at it like that. But the problem is you don't see it. Because you were the guy who's letting you get your way.
Exactly.
And you're telling yourself, oh, I'm living my best life. Even the kids don't see it. Like, hey, we was good with dad. Like,
exactly.
What are you doing? My kids are looking at her literally like, what are you doing? You left dad for this?
Damn.
You said something very important about, when you were telling her that you were trying to protect her, and some women, they don't understand that, right? Nope. If we see something going on and we say, look, hey, you need to do this they want to argue, right?
Yep.
I went through a situation about 20 years ago with a woman I was dating. We're walking down the street and I'm like, look, walk across the street. I'll be right behind you. She wants to turn around and walk across the street. I'll be right behind you. To make a long story short, there was a guy that wound up getting shot, right? I saw the guy coming across the street, coming diagonally, and I saw the gun sticking out his coat. So I'm telling her, go the opposite way and go in that door.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah, she didn't see it. She wasn't aware.
She didn't see that. So she wants to kind of act up. So then, when it's sort of all played out, and here's what happened. We go inside the door. I put her against the wall and I'm covering her. You hear the gunshots go off. Now she starts screaming. I'm like, because she heard the gunshots going off, because she didn't realize what, and I was like, so after the whole thing was done, I said, when I tell you something, listen to me, like, do what I tell you.
There's a reason why you're telling her.
There's a reason why.
Like, well,
exactly.
She was like, well, he protects me. I said, you thinking of protection if somebody messing with you, he beat up another dude. That's not the protection I'm talking about. And then she was like, well, what you mean? I said, remember last year when you asked me, could I babysit the kids so you could go to Florida? And I said, of course I can. Those are my kids. I said, how you getting to Florida? Oh, I'm going to drive. I said, well, you may want to rethink that. You're used to driving cars that I've been maintaining and that my mechanic has been looking at regularly. If I say you're going to mess around and go down to Florida and you're going to get stuck. And sure enough, she thought about what I said and ended up not driving to Florida. And about a month later, she had some car problems. I said, that was me still giving you protection. Because you could have just easily been stuck down there in Florida.
Mhm.
I said, but you look at it like I'm trying to control you.
And it's funny. No, it's not. And it's funny that you gentlemen are talking about this because I was watching a podcast today on my lunch break. Shout out to Trigger Mike from the Lapeef Network. And he was talking about provide and protect. And that's going to be a show that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And he says something, and I kind of knew this already because at my job, they make sure that when we leave the parking lot that we're not on our phones, that we're paying attention and being aware.
Yeah.
But he says something to the fact that women are always looking down. We're always in our purses. We're always on our phones. Whereas a man is always looking up and
because we watch the block
and always on the
Exactly.
Especially if you're from up north, we raised that way.
That's straight facts.
Exactly. Like I don't like to sit with my I don't like to sit with my back against the door anywhere I go, but I know that's a man's position. That's a man's position. So if I'm with a man, I check it first to see. Let me see what seat he's gonna take, and he better take the one facing the door because that's where your position is. You're supposed to look at the door to protect me in case something happens. And most of the time they'll take that seat, but when they don't, I'll take it because I'm looking at where all the exits are at, where I'm coming and going, who's sitting around, and that's just being a New Yorker. You're always vigilant. You're
watching
always alert.
We were raised that way.
Exactly.
We were raised that way. That culture. That was our culture.
That's right.
Dress in layers. Watch the block.
But it's survival mode. You have it's.
And even though I've been down here,
like women don't understand why a man.
It's in my blood to still do it. It's instinctive. Because we grew up like that. Just being aware of your surroundings.
Being aware of your surroundings.
You're an alpha male protector. Absolutely.
But I told her, I said,
so
and it's so funny. I was in
a
relationship last year with that girl I was telling you last year, and I had said to her something similar. She wanted to buy some hair or something, and I don't like weave and shit, But I was saying to her, financially, you don't need to waste that money right now. Go ahead and do it if you want. You're a grown woman. I'm not your husband. If you want to waste your money, then fine, do it. But if I were you, I would hold off. And it just became the biggest. It was like, oh, you're trying to control me and tell me. No, I'm not. All I'm doing is pointing out your choices to you. Like, if you spend that money now on something I don't even want you to have, like, who are you doing it for? And you're going to be complaining that you're broke in 3 weeks. Like, for something I know I don't want. But it was a struggle for her. First of all, I'm telling her, like, when I got with you, I got with you because you had nice hair. She had natural hair. You cut that shit off and went with a low hairstyle, which I didn't like. Then now you, a month after that, you want to put weave in your hair. I'm like, make it make sense.
Make it make sense, right?
And you're spending money unnecessarily.
I'm going to give you a perfect example. I'm going to give you a perfect example, gentlemen, of something that I just went through recently. I was recently dating a gentleman. Gary, this is the one that I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
And he was doing things that I wasn't. It's happened to me before, but it hasn't happened in a long time. He wanted me to let him know when I left the house and when I got to work, and he wanted me to call as soon as I left work. And I wasn't used to that. You know, the young Grace would have been like, why check in with you? I gotta call you. And no, what it was, he knew that I have to drive 50 miles job, and he wanted to make sure that I got to work okay.
Safely, right.
He wanted to make sure that, exactly. The only thing we kind of bump heads is like, look, I can't call you as soon as I get off work because I have to decompress. I go to the store, get my little drinky drink, you know, take my uniform off, ride out with the sunroof. You know, I have to, he was like, okay. I was like, can I call you 40 minutes after my shift? He was like, nah, 15. So we compromised and we agreed to 20. Okay, so we agreed to 20. He was like, I don't care who you gotta call after you get off work, but I just need to know that once you leave and you get on that highway, I need to know that you know where you're at and if you're safe. Right. And that to me, I was a turn on. That to me was a turn on. It impressed me. I didn't look at it as he was trying to control me. I really felt that he was trying to protect me. And he sincerely cared about my whereabouts. It wasn't like he was trying to be nosy or he was trying to know, where I was all the time. I'm like, damn, he is fulfilling his job as a man. He's protecting me, even though he was in a whole different state. I said, but what can you do if something happens to me?
Protection is an umbrella. A lot of women don't understand that. They think it's a shield that they can just whip out when they want to. But protection is an umbrella. And you choose to stand under it. Your man is holding that umbrella and you stand under it. That's what protection is. Not a shield where, when I think I'm in danger, I'm going to whip it out. I told that girl, because we first got together, she was like, would you mind if I go out with my girlfriends? We're going to have a girls' night. I said, let me tell you something. I don't give a shit. I said, here's what I care about. I care about you being here when you say you're going to be here. So if you're going out with your girls, I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to text you, ask you who you with. But 3:00 when you're supposed to be home, I need to be getting a phone call or you need to be walking in that door because I'm going to be worrying. It's 3:00. It's late at night. What happened? So some women take that, you're trying to control me. No, I'm making sure you're okay.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, but you know these young women are not going to take it like that, and that's why I embrace the Graces out here to try to educate these younger women that it's protection. To protect you, allow him to protect you. It's not now we do have our dudes out here that are toxic and are doing it for wrong reasons, and that is why you have to communicate that talk about it and vet your man.
And I cook, right?
Go ahead, Gary. What were you
saying? No, not finished. No. I'm gonna let Israel finish.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I cook. So if you getting off of work at 11:00 and then you're gonna go out with your girls, then I'm gonna put the food in the refrigerator. You know what I mean? Like, let me know what you're doing so I know how to move. And I don't have your plate ready for you. No, I don't care where you're going. I'm really not that into it.
Well, Israel, I'm gonna need my plate.
Hey, listen. In those 11 months we were together, she only cooked 5 times. 5 times. I have no problem. And I got the videos to prove that I cook, regularly, No problem with cooking. None. And that goes out to, let me bring that up. I had a biblical question I got one time on one of these panels. We talk about what's the wife supposed to do, and the wife is supposed to cook, and that's in the Bible. No, it's not. Abraham cooked, Aaron cooked, Moses cooked, and they served the women. So what the hell are y'all talking about? But I digress.
Is this reciprocation?
So,
Reciprocation, but most women just take.
well, see, one of the things that I was going to say is that, you got to know the type of person that you're dealing with, and I think there are some women that they get with these toxic men who are controlling, who wants to blow up their phone throughout the day.
Yep.
Right. And I agree with what Israel's saying. Is like, look, I'm not into what, like, just let me know where you're at so I know how to move. Right. Right. And I think that is something that's very important. I think, but nowadays you have some of these women, they're dating these guys that's literally blowing their phone up all the time.
Yeah,
so they're acting more like a woman than them.
And FaceTiming them. I'm like, why is this FaceTiming you right now?
It's like if you're going out with your girlfriends, all right, have a great time. Just, I would say
I got an answer for you guys. All that comes from the epidemic of being raised in a single parent household. You don't have a father figure in the house, so these young men tend to latch on female characteristics,
they're taking on their
and that's why they become toxic.
They're taking on their mama's behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that. Good observation.
Yeah, and I totally agree too. I mean, I think that, if your lady wants to go, well, first of all, if your lady doesn't really respect you, then you got problems, right? Because again, y'all supposed to have the communication and discussions where she already knows what she can and can't do, right? So if she's going out with her friends, she knows what she can and can't do, right? She knows that, she's either going to need to call or text or what have you to let you know that, look, she's safe and she's okay, but you're not going to blow up her phone throughout her, her and her girls having dinner or what have you every 10 minutes or 20 minutes to see what's going on.
Who you with?
Exactly. Like
the girl, I've been seeing these girls at Walmart.
Then you shouldn't
They can't even go. They can't even go grocery shopping.
I should have just stayed home with you.
They can't even go grocery shopping because the damn ninja's on the damn phone. What you doing? Who you with? Where you at?
Exactly.
Dude, like, what's wrong with you? I told you when I left the house where I was going.
But I honestly have to say, gentlemen, that was a turn on to me. The fact that this gentleman was wanting to know when I left to go to work, even when I had to go to Miami and handle some business, he was like, look, just call me, let me know. And then he would test me. He was like, so what time you leaving the house? And I would say 1:30. He was like, no, baby, I think you should leave at 1:00 to give you a 30-minute window in case you hit traffic. I didn't argue it. And at the time, he was right. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew me. He was like, you walk around, you got to get dressed, you got to do your makeup, you got to do this. You let time get by you, and then you're going to be rushing. And it's like, wow, this is how it is. You know what I'm saying? And I liked it that. And that was a turn on to me. So now the next man that I date, I'm looking for that. Because that made me feel safe. That made me feel secure. And that is what allowed me to be in my femininity, because he was taking his position and being masculine. Okay, granted, he was in another state, but at the end of the day, if something went wrong, he knew right away to call AAA, or what I needed to do. He would give me the play and I would execute the play. But most women, I guess they think they can do it all. I know how to change a tire, but I'm not changing a tire. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I could call AAA and they can change a tire for me.
Man, y'all going out, let somebody know where you're going. It's a simple thing. Again, I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to make sure you're safe. And I remember me and my sister Ebony was talking. You just trying to be in my business. I said, no, baby. You're still here, aren't you? I said, that's not by accident. Because you got somebody looking out for you, Also, it lets whoever you're going out with
They don't
know
see.
somebody's looking out for you too.
Yeah.
Because men will take advantage of you when they think
Like I told my.
you're by yourself.
Absolutely. Very
And
true.
you're
Very
alone.
true.
Yep. Yep.
Very
But if-
true.
Yup.
But if a
Today I
dude
learned
knows,
on that
bro,
podcast that I was telling you about. Most men they pick their prey on who are they gonna rob or
Yeah.
anything, and to
Yeah.
just show that most
that
of them
gazelle
will pick
that's
a woman
hanging, that's
who's alone.
behind the pack. That's the one that the lion goes after.
And he talked about just the presence alone of a man is protection, but women don't realize that. They don't realize that.
And I told
And
I
I'm
got
like,
six
wow.
sisters.
And this is what.
I got six sisters, and I told them, ain't none of y'all been in no domestic violence with no man ever. Why? Because my presence is known. Period. It makes a difference.
It does. It
A
definitely.
man will treat you totally different when he know, oh man, her brother, her brother's there, he watching out, he got a eye on her.
Our brother.
And I told the girl that. I
Number
said,
and
your
5
brother's
people pick
4
up the
hours
phone.
away. Your brother's 4 hours away, but I still got the answer to that man. I got the answer to him. Because I know if it's me, something happened to my sister, I don't care how many hours it is. I'm on my way. Niece, sister, I got I got niece, sisters, cousins. I said again, y'all don't know
I'm
what
gonna
protection
do another
is.
video just to break the ice. Okay?
All right, go ahead.
You're right. Here, I got another video. Hold on. Let me just look at Grace doing her sharing here and doing it right.
I remember when you couldn't do none of this.
Let it load. Okay, how about if I press play? That would be.
That might help.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
In just a second.
Means that a woman said, happy wife, happy life. That's not true. That's not true. No. That'll get you divorced. Men, we understand when divorces happen, all that fall on. Right, so we don't want to be looked at like we failures and all that. But if that man is unhappy and he's doing everything you want him, and you bickering on some petty stuff for years, bro, you are gonna end up single, and he's gonna go with a woman that you deem is under you, man, like you were supposed to be treating her. I see that all the time, bro. All the time. Happy wife, happy life. That is not true. That is if both of y'all happy, then y'all got a happy life. It ain't no one side to that.
Not one side.
I think in a comment on one of our things that a woman is happy life. That's not true. That's not true. No. That'll get you divorced.
Okay, so what did you think about? What did you guys think about what he said? That's it. That's the end of the video. I tried not to pick long videos.
All right. I think that most of what he said is good, but one of the points that stood out is that, there are some guys that, I guess, when the wife wants to file for divorce and he divorces, and I guess the guy goes and get another woman that may not be, let's say, as attractive as the wife, right? But this woman does everything, right? She does so clearly the wife gets the ex-wife is mad, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so what the guy was saying, he's absolutely right, because I've seen that too. Where, the current wife, she doesn't want to she's not appreciative of all the stuff that he's done, wants to file divorce over something petty, didn't even want to talk to him about it. But then when he goes to get with the new woman, who may not be as attractive as her, but this new woman she gives him peace and does what he says and treats him well. And that's what makes them mad.
Yeah, men
And
go
he's
down.
happy.
Men
And
go
he's
down
happy.
in looks to go up in cooperation.
Right, and he's happy, right? He's happy. I mean, clearly you notice
And
when
he's at peace.
right. So you notice it's a different energy with you when you're with someone that person's happy with or you're happy with, right? It's a different energy, it's a different vibe, it's a different aura. Well, clearly, the ex-wives, they don't like seeing that.
No, hell no. They don't want to see you happy.
Oh well.
Exactly.
What you want, next female will, and that's
Well,
what the
happily
next
do.
person will, and that goes for both ways,
Yeah.
willingly and willingly and able,
Right.
and it is. So it's important that both parties, hubby and wifey, remember that their spouse is not responsible for happiness. When you assume that your happiness is your spouse's responsibility, you know what that person's really doing? They're asking a flawed human being to be God in the area of your life. And only God will find your true happiness. So you're actually asking that person to do more than God? Where they do that at?
Yeah, right. The only time the Bible speaks about happiness, the Bible speaks about happiness. The only time that I'm aware of, it says happiness comes from understanding of the scriptures. That's where it comes from, and that goes to your point. It's a divine thing, because all scriptures come from divine inspiration. But again, another person can't make you happy. It's your responsibility to get there.
It can be part of your happiness. And then Israel in Psalm 37:4, it encouraged. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay. In Psalm 37:4, it encouraged us to take delight in the Lord, and he will give the desires of your heart. The scripture should be scored on your heart with two commitments. Commit to the idea that your partner is not responsible for your happiness, and commit to the idea that you are not responsible for your partner's happiness. There's got to be an understanding. I'm not responsible for making Gary happy, and he's not responsible for making me happy, but I can be part of his happiness. If I know he likes my breakfasts in the morning and I'm off that day, why not get up and make him breakfast? That's going to make him happy. Okay, no big deal. But I've heard some women say, I ain't cooking shit. He can make his own breakfast. Fuck him and da-da-da-da-da. But then you expect him to get up in the middle of the night and protect you if somebody breaks in the house. What if Gary would say to me, well, fuck that. You don't feel like cooking for me? You don't feel like doing that? I don't feel like getting up and protecting you. You see what I'm saying, ladies? It goes both ways. It's not just all about y'all. And y'all need to get off your goddamn high horses and realize that we need each other. We need men, and men need us. But y'all so busy trying to be independent that you don't even see in front of your face that we do need protection. You want somebody to provide for you and pay all your bills, but you're a strong, independent woman. Which one is it gonna fucking be? Okay, because I'm confused. Y'all got these men out here confused. And that's why they just said, fuck it. They're not even having sex with us anymore because they don't want to deal with the confusion. They just want peace. They want sex, sandwich, and silence. Period. I mean, they're not that complicated, women. Men are not that complicated. We're the ones that are complicated. We're the ones that complicate shit. They don't want to hear it.
The scripture that I was quoting was Proverbs 3:13. Somewhere around there. Hold on, let me bring it up. Proverbs 3:13. Happy
Okay.
is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. It ain't got nothing to do with anybody else
I
doing
saw
it
that
for
one last night.
Yeah. But again, we
And then to add that to Israel is. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
no,
Finish
go
the
ahead, go
thought.
ahead, go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, and then to piggyback what you just said, it says both. Hear me out. I say both parties must always look to God first and put their needs of their spouse ahead of their own. And the last
Ooh.
and fulfilling relationship build on the foundation of trust, honesty, and respect. And
Well,
I'm
that
gonna
goes with
read
what
it. I'm
Gabby
gonna read
said
exactly
earlier.
what Major said. The needs of their spouse ahead of their own.
Yep.
Ladies, how many times have you got up in the morning and thought about your husband's needs, your man's needs, your boyfriend's needs ahead of your own goddamn needs? How many women can say that? Can we work on that? Can we consciously embrace that? Can we get up in the morning and say, I'm going to put my needs on the back burner and I'm going to take care of Gary's needs first, whatever it may be. It could be something so simple, ladies.
Well, even in life,
and it could be something major.
If you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want.
Mhm.
And that kind of goes with that scripture. Same thing. But we got this selfishness in us that we, again, the tit for tat conversation we had earlier. Always me. And you don't do anything for anybody else. And I just don't know where we got that from.
We got that from
like Gary was saying
feminism.
earlier, the selfishness,
We got that from the bullshit. So to my ladies, husbands matter just as much. So get off of your high horse and start treating your men better. Start appreciating them more. Start valuing them. Because at the end of the day, with all these YouTube content creators and all these men in the manospheres, a lot of these men's eyes are getting opened. And they're getting wide open.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
yep.
They're fed up with our bullshit. And they're fed up so much with our bullshit that they're becoming passport bros. And they're going to a whole different country.
That's why I changed the question. When guys say, asking a woman, what do you bring to the table? Don't ask that question, guys. Ask this question and say, what are you willing and eager to do for the man you want?
That's right. That's right.
Because if you ask it the other way, they're going to go, well, I am the table. Right?
I am the table. Standing on 3 legs, am I you the table?
No, what are you willing and eager to do for the man you say you want? I had a girl say she got stunned with that question one time. Well, a real man don't want me to do nothing for him. I said, no, baby, this is why you're going to be single. Like, I don't know what men you've been talking to. You think the man's job is just to serve you? I said, what happened to the help me? You're the help.
Yeah.
That means you're applying for a job. So if somebody got a help wanted sign out, that means you're coming to do a job. So what is that job? What are you willing to do? Nah, the real man ain't want you to do nothing.
And does she have an answer for you?
Nope, that was the comeback. A real man don't want you to do nothing for him.
But see, it's interesting you say that. With a lot of these women, they like to throw out that term "real man," and I've always asked Pat. I said, "So, what's your definition of a real man?"
Yeah,
silence.
Yep,
silence. Always.
They got these catchphrases.
Yep,
but they haven't really put any thought to them.
Exactly.
And then when somebody gives you pushback, they stuck, and that's where the silence comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the last dude, I shut him up. Oh, yeah. So they thought they got one on you. but they wasn't ready for somebody to give you, especially if you quick with the response, they stunned.
Mhm.
Well, what you mean? What you mean what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly.
I keep talking. I got one more good video.
Okay.
This is the good one. This is the good one. Hold on.
Are you caught up on your super chats or
I
your
liked
chat?
it. This one. This shows. Yep.
Okay.
Guys who are what my father would have considered whipped. Their decision making is dominated by their wives and girlfriends. And over the course of my career, I've met probably dozens of men who are so tyrannized by their wives that they can't have the friends that they want.
Tyrannized.
They
Wow.
can't say what they want. They can't even run their careers they want. I knew a guy recently who was up for a great promotional opportunity, but it would have involved travel. And he knew that his wife would have had such a tantrum out of town that he just skipped it altogether. And a lot of times it's guys like this, guys who are smart and motivated and successful that are not living the lives they want to live. So how do you end up in this situation? Well, with most problems in living, you get there through a series of small decisions. And they're
Uh-oh. Hold on.
It's buffering.
usually motivated by a belief, whether it's addiction or obesity or just being broke. You do the things along the way that get you there. And in this case, the belief that sits behind it is the belief that your wife should never be unhappy. And that's really the core of happy wife, happy life. On the surface, it sounds great because we're men and we're fixers and we want our wives to be happy. And there was even a study a few years ago that said that in the long term, men are happier when their wives are happy. Well, no shit, that's not rocket science. If you're gonna get married, you should be generally content and appreciative of their existence.
Exactly, right,
But this
right, right.
belief that she should never be unhappy is a dangerous one. If you believe it, and if she believes it, then the two of you are going to act as if her happiness is the center of the universe, the most important consideration. And I've never met your wife or girlfriend, probably, but I can assure you that her happiness is not what makes the galaxy spin. Nevertheless, if the two of you act on that belief, then it's going to evolve into this ungodly monster where the two of you think that she should never even be mine. That's a ridiculous way to go through life, because anyone who makes comfort the centerpiece of their existence is going to find a way to be chronically uncomfortable. And that's what you see in these relationships. You see women who are consistently unhappy and falling apart, and you see men who are consistently trying to put them back together, usually by constraining their own behavior. So how do you escape this trap? Well, you get out the same way you got in, threes of decisions. But this time the decisions, rather than being motivated by your fear, are going to be motivated by your values. They're going to be motivated by the question, what kind of man do you want to be in the world and in your relationship? So it's going to involve a couple of steps. Step one, obviously, is to be more authentic and assertive in the relationship. And this might be disorienting to her if you've taught her that you're not assertive and you're not authentic. So you might want to explain to her what you're going to change and why you're changing it. And that's actually the easy part. Step two is a little trickier because it has to do with dealing with the anxiety that shows up inside of you when she's uncomfortable. Because on the surface, this might look like a relationship problem, but I've never really seen a case where it wasn't more a problem of individual anxiety on the part of the man. And anytime you have an anxiety problem, the treatment is pretty straightforward. You can expose yourself to the trigger of that anxiety. So if you're afraid of riding elevators, for example, the cure is to ride elevators. You're going to do it in a way that is thoughtful and orderly and sets you up for success rather than failure, but there's no escaping the elevator. And in this case, the trigger is her unhappiness. And so you expose yourself to her unhappiness, not by tormenting her, obviously, but just allowing her to experience the normal everyday disappointments and unhappiness that comes along, and knowing that you will get through it, you'll survive it, you'll come out the other side a little bit stronger. There are a couple of possible outcomes when you make a dramatic change like this in a relationship. One possibility is that she just calm down and become happier because her man is finally showing up. If you think about this from her point of view, no healthy woman wants an obedient doormat for a husband. A healthy woman wants an assertive, healthy man in her life. But the other possibility is not quite that healthy, and that her discomfort is going to be so intolerable to her that she's going to fight to gain control over you, the relationship. And if that's the case, then it's going to be a rough transition, and you might consider getting a psychologist on your side to help you through this. And if you do that, I think there are things you should look for. Number one, you want somebody who's well-versed in anxiety, because as I said, this is typically an anxiety problem, and it's easy to make anxiety worse. But number two, you want somebody who's friendly to the male experience. You probably don't want the social worker who has an undergraduate in women's studies, because she's not going to get it. You want someone who's well-versed in the tradition on anxiety and relationships, but also someone who has stepped off the path and has looked at the information that doesn't get a lot of airplay in academia. Names like Jordan Peterson, Robert Glover, maybe even further off the beaten path, like Rollo Thomas or myself. And if a clinician can talk about these ideas and these people without contempt, then they might be the person that can help you devise a plan to get out of this in a way that makes you happier and makes her happier. So when should you make this change? Well, how about today? If you're headed down this path, but you're not too far gone, then there's no better time than right now to reverse course and reclaim your future. But if you have traveled pretty far down this path, like the man who gave up the promotion, I can understand where you'd be hesitant. Men will stay in these situations indefinitely, knowing that if they change their behavior and start being more assertive, that it could worse. And they've done the math. They know that as miserable as their women are making them right now, they're going to have the power to make them 10 times more miserable when they're divorcing. And I'm not going to blow sunshine and tell you that that's not a possibility, because it absolutely is. But here's the thing. Men who are trapped in these situations usually end up making some kind of change eventually anyway. They just wait until there's a crisis or until they can't stand to look at themselves anymore. And so one possibility is to skip that whole waiting process and to start making the change today. But you're the only one who knows what the cost will be. And so it's not for me to make any kind of recommendation. But I will leave you with this, that life is short, and maybe it's too short to be in a miserable relationship. All right, fellas, that's all I got for you today.
I had to put that up because he is giving to go about it. You know, he's why he, you know, there's no reason, there isn't why anybody needs to be miserable in their marriage. And it's okay if Gary finally said, Grace, I'm tired of putting up with your shit. I'm changing my ways. You are rejected. And if I say, no, I don't want you to change, and then, okay, well, we're going to counseling. And if that doesn't work, then I'm walking away. Look, I'm not in letting people, for all means, I don't want any marriage to end. But I don't want my men and men in general to be miserable. I need y'all to be happy, belly full, nut sacks empty, and ready to protect and provide for us. Because when y'all walking around here wound up tight and miserable and backed up, y'all can lash out really bad. Y'all lash out to the kids, y'all lash out to the wives, y'all lash out to the dogs, and it's not good. It's not good. And women, we got to change. We have to embrace the fact that men need love and affection and want to be listened to, want to be respected just as much as we do. Who the fuck are we to think that it's the world revolves around us? And this is the point of this whole live tonight. No more happy wife, happy life. It's happy spouse, happy house. Men deserve to be happy in their marriage. I remember when I was planning my wedding with my ex-husband, I made sure I included him in every step of the way of our marriage, of our wedding, because I told him, you know, he was a typical guy. Oh, I don't want to go. I said, don't you want to enjoy the cake that we're going to eat? I don't want to eat on the day of the wedding. Why did you pick this cake? Okay, the food. You should be able to know what we're having. So he had to go to everything with me. We picked the cake together, the food together. The only thing he didn't see was the dress, of course. We picked the venue together. Everything was done together because it was just his day as much as it was mine. And women, you need to get out of that fairy tale thought of mine that it's all about you. Because without that husband, you can't get married. Without that man, you can't have a baby. So they are valuable. We need them just as much as they need us. I'm done ranting right now. What did you guys think? What did you guys think of that video? Gary,
So
what do you think of that video?
so two parts stuck out. One in the beginning when he said the wives that tyrannicize their husbands. So that's one. And then the other part was when he talked about husbands that get anxiety. So those two points there goes back to me talking about the beta male. Like, ain't no alpha or dominant male gonna get anxiety trying, letting his wife know, like, look, this is what I'm gonna be doing, or oh man, if I say this, she's gonna get mad. No, like that's not how this works. Like, no alpha male or dominant male is gonna let his wife tyrannicize him, right? That's not gonna work. So to what I'm saying is that those 2 points there that stuck out. So clearly, it's I would have to say it's beta males or beta-like males that he's talking about, because ain't no alpha or dominant male going to tolerate that.
You're absolutely right. But a beta male can change his ways, but he has to want to change his ways.
He's going to have to want to change, but also too, he's going to want to, he's going to want to please his wife, right? He's going to want to please her. So it's going to be so I understood what he was saying, where, with some of them, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to take time. And I get that. But, and I think that, again, when it goes back to in the beginning, getting the marriage, this is why some women pick those kind of men.
And you're absolutely right. Let's refer back to the same gentleman that I was dating. He straight up told me, "You're a spoiled brat." I said, "No, I'm not."
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "There you are." I know deep down, yeah, I'm a spoiled brat, but I have learned to control that because I'm older now. He was like, "I'm just waiting for the temper tantrum to kick in." I said, I'm not gonna have no temper tantrum with you. He was like, "Okay, no problem." So I was doing my best, okay. He told me I'm gonna have a temper tantrum and I'm gonna make sure, Israel, I was gonna have a temper tantrum. And sure enough, not even 2 weeks later in, he was like, "So it begins. Here we come. Welcome to embrace the grace temper tantrum." And then I looked back and I said, damn, yeah, he was right. I did have a temper tantrum. But the fact that he called me on it, respectfully, I was okay with that. I'm okay with that. But it did come with wisdom. It did come to dating that type of man. It did come with that person checking me. But it's all in the approach with me. I have the capabilities of listening, of being submissive, and doing what I'm asked of and what to do. But you got to come at me the right way. You really do, because that's a trigger for me in the approach. And whatever gentleman that I date, they'll learn what approach will work. And because people, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. If I know that Gary don't like to be yelled at, and he likes to settle in before he comes at me when he gets to work, when he comes home from work, then that's what the fuck you do. You let Gary come in and put his ESPN on or his stocks and change, because I know you're into banking and stuff. Have your cold beer ready and stuff. We gotta do things for that other person, for them to be happy. And again, it goes back to, it's not just about us, ladies and gentlemen. And my gentlemen, take your place at the end of the table, at the head of the table. Israel, what did you think about that video?
I thought the video was excellent. I'd like to hear more from that guy, so send me that on Instagram, please.
I sure will. I sure
Yeah, I
will.
like
He
that.
had a lot of good. I'm like, ooh, this is a good one. You know, I try not to put too many videos because, as you can see, I'm getting better at sharing and passing the videos and all that. Gary, I even connected my laptop to a router today instead of Wi-Fi.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Okay.
right.
You found out how to
Gary
plug
said,
that blue
"Wow."
cable in, huh?
Yeah, and I cleaned out my cookies and I cleaned out
Good. Good.
all the downloads. So you know, guys, we just put a new tire on the plane today, and it was
Just put in the
real
time.
nice.
Okay. Good. Good. That's why it's flowing. Good. Good. Good.
I
Good.
huh. You know, my
What is
motto has
real?
always been "fuck your feelings," and sometimes women have a problem when I say that. And my response is "fuck your feelings." I still don't care, but
Well,
um,
I think you use that contingent upon on who the woman is. Because if it's
no,
somebody, I mean, are you telling me, Israel, if it's somebody you care about and somebody that's dear to you, you're still gonna say fuck her feelings?
yep, I've told my mama fuck her feelings. Feelings don't matter.
Okay,
They ain't built shit. I think sometimes people get caught up in the emotional aspect of things and not anything tangible. And just like happiness, feelings constantly change. So I don't have time to be running behind somebody asking them, "Well, how do you feel? How do you feel?" every fucking 5 minutes. I just don't have the patience for it, especially not at my age. I just don't have the patience for it. And then the girl asked me, she says, "Well, what's the most important thing in a relationship?" And I thought about it for a second. I said, "The lights." She said, "What you talking about?" I said, "Nothing makes your coochie wetter than them lights being on." And then she started
Food
to
in the
give me some,
refrigerator.
huh?
Hot water,
What is that?
right? And food in the refrigerator.
No, if you ain't got no lights, that light ain't coming on in the refrigerator. The refrigerator going, the food gonna spoil. Think about how much shit is
I know,
connected
right?
to the lights.
Right. It's right. It's right. It's right.
And you gonna be mad as hell. I don't care what that man was supposed to do. If you come home and you gotta sit in the dark, you gonna be mad. You are gonna be cat shit mad. You gonna be crazy as hell. You can't eat. You gonna eat in the dark? You gonna cook in the dark? Nah. Them lights got to be on.
You're absolutely, you're
But
absolutely right.
she took it. It was kind of. I said it in a jokingly way, but then when she really started to think about what I was saying, she was like, "That make a lot of sense what you're saying." I said, "Yeah, that's what men think about. I don't care about your feelings. I care about these lights being on. I care about you having what you need versus what you feel." You got a chat?
Well, as you know, that most men,
Yep, I got
we're,
one.
most men, as you know, we're logical thinkers, right?
Yep.
So we are wired to be logical.
Yep. All
Women
the
are
time.
wired to be emotional.
Yep.
Absolutely.
A
So,
definition of a
Alicia,
feeling.
thank you for coming.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, read
Finish
that.
your thought. Go ahead.
I got it. Go ahead and read it.
Okay. So, Alicia, first of all, I thank you for coming and thank you for engaging. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to press the like button. But Alicia says, feelings don't matter. The Most High doesn't care about our feelings. We need to stop prioritizing our feelings, ladies. Order, punctuality, excellence builds kingdom, not feelings.
Shalom,
Alicia,
sis.
you coming in
Shalom,
hot
sis.
in
I
this
couldn't have said it
one.
better. Now that's a woman who gets it. Them feelings don't matter. The definition of a feeling is a belief, especially a vague
I like that
interaction.
one.
A feeling is a belief, especially a vague or irrational one. That's what a feeling is. You know,
and I had to learn as I got older that you do not make life-altering decisions based on an emotional status.
Oh no.
Yeah. No,
That's
you
why
can't do that.
I learned to count to 10 backwards, or even take a 24-hour cooling period time and really like think things out. And most likely I will reach out to a man to talk to them about my issue, because they're going to give it to me straight, and they're going to give me the logical solution versus the emotional solution. Because, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, I'm a woman, which makes me, I am an emotional creature, but I work on my emotional intelligence. And that's the only way you're going to get better at this and get along with men, is you work on your emotional intelligence. I'm not telling you to stop being women. I'm not telling you to stop being emotional. I'm just asking of you to be intelligent with your emotion. You know, I go through it too. I'm not perfect, guys. And let me at least put this disclaimer out here, and for Gary and Israel too. We are not licensed therapists. We are not psychiatrists. What we are is experts in our life experiences and things that we've seen other people go through. And that's why sometimes it's better to learn from your everyday people versus going to somebody who got a PhD and really never been through the things that we've been through. Just like the guy said in the last video, you gotta go to a good therapist who can understand and specializes in anxiety. You know, I can't see a man going to a woman to try to get therapy. What is that woman? All that woman's going to do is give him textbook coping mechanisms.
Well, you even got to be careful with going to certain men therapists as well, because they come up through academia, which is dominated by women, and they start to develop some of those
traits,
those thoughts and traits.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to be careful. That's why he pointed out Rollo Tomasi and Jordan Peterson, and you can't have somebody in academia who was surrounded by female studies, because they're looking at everything subjective. They're looking at everything very subjective, and in that scenario, the man is always going to be wrong.
I was just talking to a friend of mine. Maybe 3 days ago, and it's basically about the same thing, about dealing with a therapist, like finding the right therapist.
Yeah.
Just because this person is a therapist don't mean that they're right for you. So it takes time to really find and navigate to get the therapist that you feel that's right for you. And that's research in itself.
And you're absolutely right, Gary, because when I suggested my husband and I go to therapy after we were having a rough patch, he was like, well, I don't want to go to a woman therapist. I said, okay, no problem. So I did the research, and I found a male African-American therapist, somebody that looked like him, thought like that can relate to him, everything. It was.
I would have taken it a step further. I would have taken it a couple of steps further. I would have needed to know where he went to school at. Because again, you can have a black male who is really simping himself to females, but he just happens to be a therapist. You see that a lot.
Very good point.
Right, but he didn't ask all those questions, and he was good. He was a good therapist because he got under my ex's skin, and it got to the point where my ex threw his phone at him, and he was like, okay, so I guess we're done for the day.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? So
a good therapist, and I told this to my friend the other day, is gonna ask the hard questions. They're gonna dig. That's their job, right? That's their job. They're gonna dig to bring out, to uncover the shit that you don't want to get uncovered. That's what their job is, to bring that out and make you look at it, right, and understand it, and find out the reason, you know, the who, what, why, when, what have you, so it can be resolved. That's what a good therapist does.
And And that's what's considered a breakthrough. When you have a breakthrough, that means that therapist broke through those walls and layered that onion to the core. I found out more about my ex in 20 minutes than I did in 3 years that I was with him. Why? Because this particular therapist asked the right question. And I'm like, damn. And then Alicia said shalom, and then she came back and said, well said, Grace, seeking wisdom for guidance with our emotions. I mean, it's just like, we just, again, my awesome embracers and my audience, we're not perfect, and we're learning and growing every day. But the first thing you have to do is you have to be open to grow and learn and listen. Because if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. And now you're fucking insane. And sometimes we go to therapy, gentlemen, not because we're crazy, because we have to learn how to deal with the crazy person that we're with. You know, simple as that. Because I know that therapy is taboo in our community. And you know what? We're the ones that need it the most. Because a lot of us are traumatized. A lot of us have gone through generational curses, and each generation goes over the same thing over and over again and never gets resolved. We have a habit of sweeping shit underneath the rug. Oh, what happens in this house stays in this house. No. It needs to be resolved so it doesn't happen to my child and then their child. But we don't want to do that. But we need to have better marriages, to be better parents, to have better kids. I mean, it's a win-win situation all across the board. But with that being said, we have hit the 2-hour mark. Israel, I'm not like others. I like to keep it at 2 hours, maximum 2.5, because I know a lot of people's attention span is not that long, and plus, you know, I can't embrace them that much. I need them to come back next Monday to get embraced again.
You gotta limit how much embracing they get, huh?
I know that's right. They can't get on the flow. You know, I gotta keep them coming back so they can subscribe and support the channel on the Cash App so they can keep me going and motivated. I can keep Gary coming here every week with me because he's been with me since my first show in 2023 every night. And just real quick, so we're okay going on Sundays now, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to go either Tuesday or Wednesday, but if I want to go on the JVJ network, Sundays was really the only opportunity. And I said, you know what? I got to do what I got to do to grow my channel. And I know that being on his network would be a good opportunity for me. So that's when I hit you up last night. And, you know, and it's so funny that I know you. They were like, well, get with Gary and let us know. I'm like, Gary gonna answer me right back. Okay. He don't play. And sure enough, oh, Gary said it was good. Sundays was good for him. But do you see the difference when you know somebody and you're friends with someone, you know how that person is going to react? I didn't have to wait 2-3 days. If Gary's available, and even sometimes when he's at events, he'll tell me, hey, I'm at an event, I'll holler at you later. He doesn't leave me hanging. You know, but he answered me back right away. He's like, yeah, Sundays are good. So to all my embracers out there, come June, I'm moving my show from Monday nights to Sunday nights. I'll keep reminding you guys, just keep embracing me. So let's close out, Gary, with your final thoughts. And again, let people know where we can find you. I'll go to Israel and then I'll close out and we can go about our business. Gary, final thoughts on this happy wife, happy life bullshit.
Well, I mean, as I always say, I mean, you have to communicate, right? You know, a marriage, a relationship is two people, and you have to communicate, and you have to make sure you understand each other, and you work together, right? You work together for the benefit of the relationship, for the benefit of each other, right? It's a team effort. It's not one.
Work makes a dream work.
Exactly right. So it's teamwork, right? It's teamwork. And you have to remember that. Now, look, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing. And, because there are going to be times when communication is going to be hard and it's supposed to be, right? It's going to get challenging. But that's going to, once you get to overcome that, it's going to make the relationship stronger. That's why you have to communicate. It's very important. Once you can do effective communication with each other and grow with that, it's going to make the relationship stronger. So on that note, I want to thank Grace for again having me here. I want to thank Israel, and y'all can find me Fridays on the Real Discussion on Boardwalk Global Media. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You can look for the Real Discussion, Facebook and Instagram, and that's it. And again, thank you.
On Fridays.
From 8 p.m. to 10 p.m.
I'll send you the link, okay? I'll send you the link. So with that being said, Israel, go ahead and give me your final thoughts and let people know where we can find them. Know you'll call them right back. You almost done.
I did. Before that, did you want to read your chats? You had a couple chats come in.
No, I read them already. They're all been read. I'm caught.
Oh, I thought some new ones popped up. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. I read them.
All right. Yeah. You can find me anywhere.
Thank you for helping me. I appreciate that.
Anywhere on social media, you can find me at VBen Israel. I am the people's champ. I will say the things that you want to say, but you can't. I'm here for y'all. You find me here on YouTube at the People's Podcast. Just search for VBen Israel. I will be here. You can also find me on the JVJ Network most nights. I pop in and out of there regularly. Definitely enjoyed the discussion, and I thank y'all for both having me. So I'll make sure I pop in regularly, help you grow your channel. And so just keep it coming, man.
I appreciate that.
Job.
I really do, because you've been A1 since you are A1 too, ever since back in June. When I started back in June, you've been an A1. So I really do appreciate that.
I try to be consistent.
And with that being said, guys, my final thoughts is that I hear you, and that's what matters. Consistency is key. And with that being said, to all my embracers, Gary, Israel, it's important to put God in the center of your marriage. In Mark 10:9, it says, we read, therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. Men, husbands matter just as much as you do. Get off your goddamn high horse and start loving, respecting, and appreciating your husbands more. Because there's going to be 10 other women in their DMs ready, willing, and happily to do what you're not going to do. So keep that in mind. Does it make it right? No. But husbands,
are we doing an after party?
No, I don't do that, because what I do, Israel, is that I go YouTube surfing after this and get on other people's panel, so I can, so I can get exposure. So, but maybe I will once in a while when I have more people on the panel. I will. So, ladies, do your job, do your duty as wives. Husbands, do your job and duties as husbands. And remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Have an awesome night, guys. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to support the Cash App. I appreciate it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one, guys. Gary, see you next Monday. Israel, see you Monday. Have a good night, guys. Take care. And broadcast.